Warning, the information and interviews shared on this program might be found to be quite useful.
Welcome to another edition of For Mature Audiences. I'm Sherrie Dunleavy.
And I'm Tate Blanchard. This month, we're going to focus on a major topic across the Ohio Valley, and that is transportation.
Why? Because a lack of transportation is truly a huge concern when it comes to the health and well-being of our community.
That's absolutely right, Sherrie. In working with the elder population in the community, that we are learning that many of our senior citizens are not going to their doctor's appointments or, more heartbreaking, their life-saving treatments because they don't have a way to get there. Many of them no longer drive or have family in our area to take them. And because of that, many are getting severely sick and may end up in the hospital or other facilities. Some may even be dying as a result of that.
I know, that's so heartbreaking. But the good news is that we have, what we're going to share with you today is that there are more and more options for people to get transportation here in the Ohio Valley. And today, in this show, we're going to focus on 3 great options for our aging population. We're going to begin with the organization that's been probably serving residents longer than any other here in the Ohio Valley, and that is the Ohio Valley Regional Transit Authority. The bus service has been an affordable and reliable mode of transportation for Ohio Valley residents for decades, and each vehicle is handicap accessible. So that's very important for many people to know. I had a chance to talk with the interim director of OVRTA, Weishar, and learn more about our local bus service.
We provide public transportation that is affordable. It is safe, it is affordable. We operate Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. We go as far north in West Virginia as Warwood, and as far south as 21st Street in McMecken. On the Ohio side, we go as far north as Rayland and as far south as Shadyside. And we also go to Moundsville 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay, and is this transportation bus only?
It is bus only, but because we have a fixed route bus service, we also have what's called an ADA complimentary paratransit service, which offers the same service, only it is for someone who is handicapped, and we pick them up at their home and we take them anywhere in our service area and take them back to our home. You would need to be registered with us for that service.
Okay, and when you're registered for that kind of service, how often can you use that service?
The same time as the bus, Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Oh,
as long as you made a reservation and we can fit you in.
Okay, and so is it per person or is it on a certain route? I mean, you know, like, do you pick up 5 people at a time or is it 1 person at a time?
If we can fit more than 1 person on the event, if people are going the same place, yes. If not, pretty much we ride 1 person at a time.
Okay, and so who uses your transportation the most, do you think? What age group?
Age 50 and up usually use it the most, yes.
Okay, and so do you know, like, just by chance, what people are using the transportation for?
Well, we don't ask those questions, but a lot of people are going to doctors, they're going to shopping, they're going to the movies, just living their life, doing the things they need to do for life. Going to the grocery store.
Pardon me?
Going to the grocery store as well.
Okay, so how you say you offer affordable transportation? How affordable is the transportation? How affordable is a bus pass?
A bus pass is $42 a month, but if you're 65 years or older and you come in here and get an ID card, it would only be $21 a month. And that's for unlimited rides, $21 a month, and you can use it 6 days a week from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the entire calendar month. If you come in and get an ID card and you're over 65 as well, you can ride, if you don't have a pass, you can ride for 65 cents, when our regular fare is $1.30.
Okay, so people
and if you have a disability, you can ride for half fare as well.
Oh, wow. Okay. So this is a great service. What is do you have any really most popular routes?
Well, always the Ohio Valley Mall in the Highlands, which is the Blaine route, and the Elm Grove route, which goes to the Highlands. They are the most popular, and McMecken's pretty popular too.
So let me ask you, how do you find out where the bus stops are and which is the proper bus to be taking to get to your destination?
All our routes, along with the map on our website, is OVRTA.org. Or you can also call in here and tell people, listen, I'm here and I need to go there. What do I do? And we will direct you exactly what bus and what time to be there.
For more information about the bus routes, fares, passes, or any other information, check out OVRTA online at OVRTA.org or give them a call. The number is 304-232-2190. Well, another option for transportation that we feel you should know about is a local organization called Faith in Action. Tate, tell us about your special guest.
Thanks, Sherrie. I'm joined today by Yvonne Verno, who is the Executive Director of Faith in Action Caregivers. Yvonne, thank you so much for joining us today. If you could please tell us first and foremost about Faith in Action Caregivers, who you are and what you do.
Well, Faith in Action began in the 90s. The Robert Wood Johnson Foundation sent out RPFs to across the country for agencies. They went to villages, they went to cities, they went to towns to find out what was the need in that area. So a group of concerned citizens in Wheeling, West Virginia got together and determined that it was transportation. So many of our older adults were not getting to medical appointments, were not getting groceries, and so that was our need. So Faith in Action started that way. We had 5 congregations put up $4,000 each, and that was seed money. It was matched with the Robert Woods Johnson Foundation, so we started with that. And then in 1996, January, the first executive director was hired. So we were incorporated late 95, started in 96, so we've been around for a long time.
Certainly, and the thing to me that is impressive about Faith in Action Caregivers here in our area is that in the existence, there have only been a couple of executive directors, correct?
2.
That's right.
2.
So the initial executive director and now yourself. Yeah.
Says a lot about the agency.
It certainly does, for sure, and the incredible service that you all provide to the community. And if you could please tell us specifically, what are those services that you do provide today to our area?
Well, primarily our focus is on transportation because transportation is needed. We work with a vulnerable population, older adults and individuals with disabilities. Our volunteers provide the transportation that's no cost. We provide transportation to all medical appointments, dialysis, grocery shopping, running errands. I like to say anything you would get in your car to do, Faith in Action will do. And the best part about it is it's just a friend. We don't have a fleet of cars, we don't have hired drivers. We have volunteers who are our angels. They will give their time, their compassion to the individuals we serve.
And who is eligible to take your transportation service or get involved with your services?
Anyone over the age of 55 or has a disability that resides in Belmont, Marshall, or Ohio County. It does need to be a private residence. We do not provide from hospital stays, and we do not provide nursing homes. And there's a lot of assisted living facilities who have their own transportation, but we look at that as a case by case.
Sure. And is there a cost associated with your services?
As I said earlier, it is a no cost.
That's right. Very important to know. Yeah. And also, tell us about folks if they're interested in getting involved to be a volunteer. How can they go about doing that?
Well, volunteers are, very important anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. And in the Ohio Valley, with our nonprofits that are volunteer-based, it's even a greater need. For us, I do a lot of presentations, but if you're watching this, you can call 304-243-5420. Ask for Yvonne. It's a simple application. It takes about 30 minutes because I'm Italian. I talk fast. I talk with my hands. So I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste my time. So it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
I remember when I started there, before I drove anyone, volunteers would say to me that they get more out of it than they think the care receivers do. And it wasn't until I rode with one of our volunteers a couple weeks after I started that I'm sitting in the back seat and I'm hearing these two gentlemen carrying on a conversation. They're talking about the weather, they're talking about the Steelers, they're like, where did you go last weekend? They were two friends having a conversation. And that's the relationship that our volunteers and our staff have with our care receivers. You know, we're not just drivers. We're not just coordinators of the request. We're friends.
And that helps to lessen any type of apprehensions or fear that an individual might have in taking up services with anyone, that you're going to have a friendly face and someone that you're going to come to know and like, that is going to help you with your transportation needs.
Yes, exactly. And we are personal, door to door. Our volunteers go to the front door of the individual's house. They help them into the car. They, of course, have a conversation. They take them to the doctor's appointment. They go in the office with them. They wait. They help them with their cards for an upcoming appointment because, again, as you know, elderly adults might need a little bit more assistance. And so that's what we do. We do more. We, like I always like to say, we might be small, but we're mighty.
For sure. And of course, if there's someone out there that is watching this and they have a giving heart, and maybe they can't give of their time, but maybe they can give of other resources like donations or funding or something along those lines, I'm sure that those are always greatly appreciated as well.
Well, the thing of it is, you know, being probably one of the smallest nonprofits in the Valley, we have a very small budget. And you're right, revenue, I write a lot of grants. You know, we do a couple events. We sell and deliver hoagies twice a year. We do an end-of-year campaign, and we do events. So, yes, any donation you would like to give to Faith in Action to help us continue our mission is greatly appreciated. And again, you can call that number. Talk to me first. I can give you any information. We do have our tax. We're 501c3, so we are tax exempt. So that's good to know as well if you're making a donation. But yeah, of course, you know, any donation helps. We have care receivers that send us a $5 bill once a month.
Oh, that is so sweet. And of course, the thing about your services, and as you kind of mentioned earlier, when you have the folks that are your volunteers and they're going out and they're doing these services, it's something that is rewarding for them as well to be a part of. It makes them feel good at the end of the day because they've done something to truly help someone in need.
And it is. You're so right because, you know, what we always say is help us put faith in action in our community. Because that's exactly what it is. You're helping someone that's in need, and we have a lot of people in need.
And I would assume also that a lot of the folks that are your care receivers, maybe the only interactions that they may have could be with your volunteers that are taking them to their appointments or to the grocery store or whatever that might look like. And so they are really relying on your volunteers to be their friends.
I'll tell you a story. We would receive monthly donations from one of our care receivers. They're small amounts, but they're wonderful. And she always would put a note in. And one of the notes says to me, like American Express, sort of, I wouldn't leave home without faith in action.
Oh.
So you're right. A lot of our folks, we are their only way to the outside world.
Sure. And oftentimes, maybe the only way that the outside world is coming into them as well. Yvonne, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you'd like to add that you think our viewers need to know?
Volunteers are really needed, and we're very caring, compassionate agency. Again, we're small, but we're mighty. It's only myself and one part-time staff member in the office. So if you call the number and nobody answers right away, leave a message and we will get back to you. And thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Yvonne. We so greatly appreciate it. And of course, if you or someone you know needs transportation services, please do not hesitate to reach out to the Faith in Action caregivers, and we have the information there on your screen. Thanks again, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Coming up next on For Mature Audiences, we're going to check out one more transportation option in the Ohio Valley that operates 24/7 and will take you anywhere you need to go. So stay with us. Welcome back to For Mature Audiences. Today we're going to be talking about transportation options for people in the Ohio Valley, and we're excited to share with you an option that's causing a lot of excitement for people of all ages, and that is the IC Cab business. IC Cab is a sister company to IC Care and IC Staffing, and the Chief Development Officer of all three companies just happens to be my co-host, Mr. Tate Blanchard. So Tate, we really want to dive into this and just talk about the services that IC Cab has for people here in the Ohio Valley.
Sure. Of course, we're talking about transportation and keeping people moving regardless of where they need to go or why. IC Cab is a great option for individuals to utilize transportation services because we recognize through many studies and many partnerships that we're involved in that a lot of folks across the Upper Ohio Valley, regardless of their age or their socioeconomic status, rely on public transportation because they have to, not because they need to, which in major cities, that's the exact opposite. But here in the Ohio Valley, we have a number of people that don't drive for one reason or another, and transportation is one of our greatest barriers that we're trying to overcome. And so providing transportation services through an organization like IC Cab and working in conjunction with other entities like OVRTA and Faith in Action Caregivers and the many other transportation options help us all to keep the Ohio Valley moving and getting people where they need to go.
So it's almost like filling in the gap.
That's it.
So how did this company come to be? Because I mean, you know, there was a cab company, but I don't think a lot of people utilized it, or maybe even a lot of people knew that it was out there. This seems to have really just taken off once the decision was made, we need to do this better.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was in the fall of 2022 that the owner and president of the IC group of companies, Phil Savaggio, kind of surprised all of us by saying, hey, we are opening a transportation company and we are going to take over the transportation license for this area. So those of us who had been involved in the organization never really saw that coming. But Phil has a great way of recognizing a need in the Ohio Valley and an opportunity for us to try to fill that need. And so that was really it. And so we springboarded into this new venture of trying to provide transportation. And Phil recognized that, of course, there was a need for transportation and a provider of that transportation services here in the Ohio Valley. But I don't think Phil or anyone else could have possibly understood to what extent that need was across the Upper Ohio Valley. And so we launched in October of 2022. And every single month, Sherrie, we are seeing that IC Cab is providing more and more and more rides than the previous month. So for example, in January, we saw about 14,500 trips. And then in February, being a slightly shortened month, we're seeing even more trips come in the month of February. And so that trend has been steady since October of 2022 that we look and we see that we're providing more and more and more trips to the point now that we're at 15,000 plus trips that we're providing every single month for folks. And those trips could be your run-of-the-mill every day. Someone needs to go to the grocery store. They might need to go to the mall or to the Highlands. But also a lot of what we're doing is non-emergency medical transportation to get people to their doctor's appointments and to their life-saving and life-sustaining treatments that they wouldn't be able to get to otherwise.
Right. So for the senior population specifically, how does this fill in the gap for them? Because we did hear about, the bus routes, you can get a bus pass very reasonably, a very reasonable. Faith in Action is free, but they still don't fulfill all the need.
And that is an issue, regardless of the organization, that not any one entity can fill all of the need. In fact, not all of us together can fill all of the need. There's still such a great need, and we're all constantly working together to collaborate and making sure that we're trying to get everyone going to where they need to go. And so when we're talking about the older adult population in particular, the ways in which that we are helping them is because, of course, each one of us that provide transportation have our own limitations. If you don't live on the bus route, or if you have an appointment that is outside of bus hours, then obviously that is not an option. Faith in Action, they have a certain number of volunteers that are able to provide that transportation, and they may be totally booked out. Whereas maybe IC Cab may have some options for you. So if you know that you have an appointment coming up on Tuesday the 26th, or whatever that might look like for you, all you have to do is give IC Cab a call and schedule that appointment with our staff in dispatch, and we can make sure that we get you a vehicle to get you to and from your appointments. And also, something that is fantastic is that if you are a Medicaid recipient and you need transportation services, most likely we will be able to bill your insurance. That way you don't have to be faced with an out-of-pocket expense for transportation.
That's what I was going to ask you about, is that, it still can be very affordable. And I think our rates are very affordable as they are. But for people that have the insurance, a lot of times their insurance will pay for this transportation.
That's absolutely correct. That is specific, of course, to those non-emergency medical appointments. So if you have an appointment, or if you have a type of service that you need to go for that is deemed medical, then we can take you to that and bill your Medicaid. Otherwise, if you have to pay out of pocket, I think that you're correct. We have learned through our studies that we are still an affordable option because we only charge $2 per mile for our services, and we have a $6 minimum. So $6, so you're going at least 3 miles with us.
Right.
Yeah.
So I also want to talk about an option, because there are a lot of people, for some reason, don't drive, can't drive, or don't have family and friends around that can drive them.
Correct.
And they might need to go to Cleveland Clinic. They might need to go to WVU Medicine in Morgantown. They might need to go to Pittsburgh. We can take them there too, right?
Absolutely, because we do not have any geographical boundaries whatsoever. If anyone across the Upper Ohio Valley needs to get anywhere else, we will take them. So, as you said, our cars are traveling to Columbus, Morgantown, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, all of these different places across our region every single day. So don't let that keep a person from giving us a call if you think that, there's no way they're going to take me all the way to Cleveland, or there's no way they're going to take me to Ruby and Morgantown. Actually, there is a way. We make a way in order to get you to where you need to go.
Okay, and so I would be remiss if I didn't say there probably are people that are watching this right now that would be great drivers for us.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. Sure. We are always hiring drivers. So if you're an individual that is interested in earning what I think is a good income while also providing a critical service, please feel free to give us a call, because we would love to get you trained and get you behind the wheel and providing these transportation services, and safe transportation services as well. Because something that I'd like to point out to folks is a lot of times people are apprehensive about getting into cars with strangers that they don't know. And that is okay, and we understand that. But in order to make everything safe for everyone, of course, we do background checks and drug screens, and we have to run what are known as MVRs on our drivers to make sure that they don't have any major infractions on their driving backgrounds. But also, we have interior and exterior facing cameras in every one of our vehicles as well. all of our vehicles are GPS traced, so we know exactly on a map where that car is at any given point in time. And our dispatch or our management team can also pull up the cameras in that car to see exactly what's happening in that car at that moment. And of course, that data is also being recorded for later review if we need it.
Okay, so that should give you peace of mind. So now the next question is, how do we get a ride? I know we have an app, but I know a lot of people that are watching don't do apps, and that's fine.
That's fine.
How do you do it? How do you get a ride?
Sure, it is simple as picking up the telephone and calling what I think is the age-old cab telephone line here in the Ohio Valley, because it's been the same number for many decades. All you have to do is dial 304-232-1313, and that will connect you with our dispatch team to book your ride. Whether you need something on demand, meaning right now, or maybe you just want to schedule something for next week or something that's coming up in the near future, we'd be happy to get that scheduled for you to make sure you get to where you're going on time. Also, something that I think that's important for people to realize too, Sherrie, is if you need transportation to the airport. I was approached at one of our local senior centers from a lady who's going on a trip to Disney World with her daughter. And it was a major stressor for her because she didn't know how they were going to get transportation to the airport. She didn't want to drive and leave her vehicle at the airport when they flew out, which is a concern for many people, myself included. So I was talking with her, and she was so excited to find out that we would take them to the airport.
Very good to know. Okay, anything else?
No, I don't think so. If you're
Okay.
looking for a safe, reliable mode of transportation, consider IC Cab.
So if you want to schedule a ride with IC Cab, once again, here is the number to call, 304-232-1313.
When we come back, we'll introduce you to a local woman who doesn't let age, injury, or any other excuse keep her from the sports she loves. We'll introduce you to her coming up in our Aging Awesomely segment.
That's right, and we have a great event we want to tell you about so you can save the date, and the details are just ahead.
Welcome back to For Mature Audiences. Once again, it's time for our Aging Awesomely segment. And this month, our guest is one that has been setting a great example of that philosophy for Sherrie for quite some time. That's because it's her mom, Sharon McCutcheon. Sherrie?
That's right, Tate. My mom has been a great example of aging awesomely for me personally, and I think for many others who know her too. And not just looks-wise, because she looks so youthful, but also because she lives a very active and busy life. And even though some things might slow her down, they never keep her down. And that's become quite apparent to me following her double knee replacement surgery, when all she wanted to know from the doctor was, when is she going to get back to the pickleball court? And of course, his answer was, whenever you feel like it. So, Mom, welcome. You're back on the pickleball court. And just what is it about pickleball that, I mean, like, you're obsessed with it?
Well, I feel like it energizes me. I get my stress relief there. And I've played tennis for many years. And when pickleball came out, it was closer for me at home, and we had courts in St. Clairsville, and we had areas to play, and it was just became my obsession, and I live to go to play pickleball.
Yeah, and so that was kind of almost like an incentive coming off of knee surgery, because that can be very challenging for people.
Well, I've been the type of person that I'm on the move a lot. I don't sit and watch television. I read occasionally, but I'm just moving all the time. So when that came out and I had my knee surgery, that's the first thing I wanted to know. How soon can I get back? And again, he said, whenever you feel you can. I just recently had carpal tunnel surgery a little over a month ago, and I was back playing pickleball within probably 3 weeks, and it didn't bother me a bit. So it's just something that I look forward to, because I have to be moving and I want to stay youthful. I want to stay my joints I want to be flexible, and it's just what I want for me.
It seems like pickleball was a natural like evolution out of tennis, where tennis might be, everyone says tennis might be a lifelong sport, but there comes a time when it becomes a little more difficult. Pickleball, you can ease into it. I mean, because it seems to be the rage, especially among the older population.
It is the rage, but surprisingly, there are very young students that are coming out and playing this sport. It has become the new sport over tennis. I can't, if I could play tennis, I would, but I chose pickleball because it was close to home. But I still wish I could still go back to playing tennis. I did like tennis over pickleball at one time, but this is close to home, and I have just as much fun. I've met so many wonderful people, and you're just a group of, and it's not a sport that we are waiting for tournaments or we're waiting for trophies. It's a get together, and then we go maybe have coffee or lunch afterwards. So it's just been great for me to get me out of the house, and I have brought other people into it, and they have also become a favorite of pickleball.
Okay, so what advice would you have for someone that wants to get started if they think it might be something they'd like to try?
Well, like I have mentioned before to others, you have to have some kind of athletic ability in your lifetime to be able to have good balance, to be able to move your arms and your legs. That's the most important thing. You can't come into playing pickleball and never have played a sport because you could get hurt badly. And so I would advise them to have instructors to help them to get started, because they can do it even if they've not had any sport ability. They can do it.
Okay,
If they want to.
Okay, so how many years have you been playing now?
It'll be 5.
5 years.
And I've played tennis for 20-some.
Okay. Oh no, you've played tennis more than 20 years.
More than that, but I forget. I think I'm older
Okay,
than I am.
so will you be willing to share your age with us?
I'll be 82
Okay.
in July.
And so 82, are there other 82-year-olds playing, or?
Yes, I don't know that they will be playing this year. They've had some health issues. The oldest gentleman, who had only vision in one eye, was 93, and the other lady was 87.
Okay.
So, and they played very well for their age. I mean, they competed with all of us that, you know.
Okay, so you plan on playing for as long as you possibly can, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so pickleball is her obsession, but she doesn't sit at home. She has 3 jobs. So tell us what those 3 jobs are, where people might say, oh, she looks familiar. Yes, she's my mom, but you might have seen her at the following places.
Well, I work at the Capitol Theater as an usher, and then I work at the arena as an usher part-time, and I also work part-time as needed at a funeral home.
Okay. So you might have seen her as a greeter at the funeral home too. So that's very interesting. So what do you think is your tip for aging awesomely?
Keeping busy. It's just something that I'm not one who likes to sit home. I'm a widow and I'm by myself, and I just don't like to sit home by myself, and I like to keep active. So you might have to just push yourself a little bit, but if you just give yourself that opportunity just to see what's out there and just talk with people, I'm sure you'll find something that will keep you active, because that's what keeps me youthful.
Okay, and people can't believe that you're the age that you are, and I know that there are people that you're inspiring that are much younger than you. Like, you're their icon for how they want to age.
I've heard it more than once, that they hope that they can do what I'm doing at my age.
And so what would you tell them what they have to do or start doing?
Exactly what I'm doing.
Okay, well, Mom, I want to thank you because you certainly inspire me, and I want to thank you for
Well,
being
thank you
for being our guest today.
Feeling that I'm qualified to be able to do this. Thank you.
Thanks, Sherrie and Sharon. Remember, we love to feature local people who are aging awesomely. So if that's you or maybe someone you know, please feel free to contact us with your recommendations. We would love to feature them. And before we close out today's show, we want to tell you about a huge event that's coming up for seniors at the Ohio Valley Mall. It's the annual Senior Support Fair that'll take place at the Ohio Valley Mall on Tuesday, May 7th from 10 until 2. This is an opportunity for seniors in our area to learn about and meet people associated with agencies, organizations, and businesses that provide goods and services geared specifically to our aging population.
Not only will you walk away with great information, but you'll also enjoy tons of goodies, treats, and trinkets, and you may even win some great prizes. Admission is free and it's so much fun. Hundreds of area seniors take part in it every year. It's open to anyone, and all you have to do is show up and enjoy.
Make sure you mark this date on your calendar. Again, that's May 7th from 10 until 2 at the Ohio Valley Mall, and we would love to see you at the Senior Support Fair. Thanks for joining us on this edition of For Mature Audiences. We hope that you enjoyed this month's show.
And next month promises to be a great show too. But if there's a topic that you'd like us to cover or would like to know more about, well then we would love to hear from you. Give us a call or email us with your suggestions. We welcome them. That's going to do it for us this month. Thank you for watching and have a great day.